Most people wait for the perfect time to change their life. I realized that the perfect time doesn't exist. There's only the moment you decide to act. And I didn't move to Mexico because I had it all figured out. I actually moved here because I was just done waiting. I spent years wondering how I would make it work, but the truth is, I'm just letting life pass me by. So I put my house on Airbnb, packed up my family, and we left. No plan B, no retreat. And as soon as I finally acted, the stars just started to align. I was given a crystal clear vision on exactly what to do next. It's actually the clearest vision I've ever had in my life. And I'm going to share that with you at the end of this video. It hasn't been perfect. Starting over in a new country where you have no friends is lonely. And there are days where it feels like you're just trying to survive. But I can tell you right now, it has been totally worth it. This is the story of why I moved to Mexico.
Forgot to put ice. Now I gotta drink this warm water on this hot day. I'm not gonna lie, I really struggled making this video. I really didn't know how to tell the story, but I'm just gonna say it how it comes out. Okay, so first I'll share with you the little reasons why I decided to move to Mexico and the reasons why I like it here. And then at the end, I'll talk about the 3 real big main reasons why I moved here. But there's really many reasons why, and to be honest with you, I was forced to move here, even though I've wanted to my whole life. It was just like these perfect coincidences that lined up to lead me to this position where I am now. And I've been living in Mexico, in Mérida Yucatán, since November of 2024, and today it's like, it's been like 4 or 5 months. And so, yeah, so 6 months. 6 months I've been living here already. It's been a completely different experience. And I've been able to grow so much as a person because of just changing the environment. And the little things are simple, like the weather or the tropical plants. I'm a big plant person, so I love tropical plants. It's just cool to see them here and they're just flourishing. And I love that, I love that. It really has a big effect on me personally. And I believe everyone, your surrounding affects you and how you think and your mood. And that's one of the main reasons why I wanted to move here was because of the weather. It's so beautiful. You got luscious clouds. When it rains, you get that tropical storm rain. I was gonna go swimming, but then now it's like pouring rain. Crazy pouring. I would really love to go running in this because I was hot literally like 30 minutes ago. I changed, I put my swim shorts on, I'm about to go swimming. And then literally I came back out and now it's just raining and thundering. But then you still got blue skies over here. I guess this is what it feels like to be in the jungle when it's raining. And it's funny because all the chickens were out here and as soon as it started storming down, all the chickens just ran off. And it should clear up in about, I don't know, maybe 20 minutes from now, 30 minutes. I don't know if you can hear that thunder. Thunder with clear sky out over there. That's so crazy to me. Now the rain's going away. It's gonna clear up. Look, the chickens are coming out. Look at the chickens. Now that it cleared up, they're like, let's go for it. Where'd you guys go? It's so unique. I love that. I love that feeling. Versus like the weather in Sacramento where I live, it's just like dark and gloomy and you just gotta go through it. And maybe you might be the same way where the weather really affects you. It's just when the sun's out, you feel really good, getting that vitamin D. It just creates like that optimistic perspective in life when you have the sun out. And for me, that actually increases my productivity because like when I see the sun out, I'm like, yes, it's another day to kill it. Let's go out. It's a beautiful day. It's so inspiring. Little things like that. And maybe in another video I'll show more about how my life has changed within the last 6 months just from living in a new place. But really, it's kind of like everything I really dreamed about. So feel free to ask me a question, anything, and I'll be glad to answer what it's like to live here or any questions you might have, and I'll be sure to get those to you or create a video for you. And also too, of course, the affordability. So I really wanted to be able to have personal nannies, cleaners that come to the house, but I don't want to spend so much money doing it. And over there in the United States, it's pretty expensive to have those things. I really want to provide a private education for my son, so I want to hire private tutors and I want to give him a different perspective in life than what he has living in the United States. Oh my gosh, I'm hungry. I live in a pretty big house, and my electric bill comes every 2 months, and it was $56. Crazy. It's like almost nothing. And then when we go out to eat, we can go out to eat, 3 of us, and spend like 25 bucks, 30 bucks, 40 bucks on the really high end. But 25 bucks, everyone eats and everyone has like a drink and stuff like that. It's depending on where you go, you know, but like the average spots. It's like, it's nice. But really, the thing that kicked it off was when my son was born. I realized that time was passing by so fast. I became a adult. You know, when you're young and you're thinking about like a fatherhood or adulthood, it's like, oh, one day I wonder what that'll feel like. Well, it arrived, and I realized that I just been living the same long chapter of my life because I've been living in this one place, trying to find new inspiration, living in this one city that I grew up in. I didn't want to have that life where I'm just living in one spot. The world is so big. Why am I going to just be in one place? Like, is that really what my book is gonna be about? And so I realized, I was like, you know what? Even though I have a son, I'm gonna use that as an advantage to go out and do the things I wanna do now with my family, not just by myself. And so a year after that, I decided in 2024, in October, a year from then, that I was gonna move to Mexico. This is my breakfast, by the way. Berries, broccoli, and hard-boiled eggs. Can't go wrong. And so that phrase would come up in my mind is if someone wrote a book about you, would you read it? Would you find it interesting? And for me, I don't think it was that interesting. And so I decided, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna create an interesting life. Even if I have a son, why not make it even more interesting to be able to take my family to a new whole place that's new. New experiences, new life, new culture, new routines. And that's what I really wanted to do. So from there, I decided I'm gonna live in Mexico for 5 years, and then Japan for 5 years, and then Italy for 5 years. And I've always wanted to do that, and now I'm going to do it because I've decided to do it. And a lot of my inspiration came from a couple friends that I follow. One friend, he moved to Tulum, and he's not even Mexican, and he doesn't even speak Spanish, but he decided to do it, and he's been living here for like, I don't know, 5 years. My other friend, Davron, he went from Sacramento to Miami, and then traveled the world, and then he's in Colombia now, and he's been still traveling the world. Dude, that's so cool. Like, his story is cool. I thrive off that, and those two guys are really people that I know personally that inspired me to like, you know what, I can do this too. And hopefully this video is inspiring you to do the same. If I can give you that one spark of inspiration to go out and do it and do something that you've always wanted to do, that's my goal for this. And so even though I don't hang out with those guys, I have them on my Instagram feed and my Facebook feed, and it's kind of like you are who you surround yourself with. And so I follow those guys and they inspire me in what they do. This is my dessert, by the way. Blueberries, yogurt, and cinnamon. Really quick, easy, and it keeps me full longer. Protein too. And the second main reason why I decided to move here was because 4 years ago my parents retired and they moved here about an hour away from me in a small pueblo called Tepacan. I really wanted to be close to my parents, and also too, when my son was born, I realized how important family is, and I really wanted him to have a close relationship with his abuelos, my parents. In order to do that, the only way was to move here because we live so far apart. I saw this short clip of a podcast. It was between two guys, I can't remember the names. One guy was asking the other guy, how often does he see his parents? And he says, oh, about once a year, because, you know, they live in another state. He says, okay, how old are your parents? And he's like, oh, they're about 70 years old. Statistically speaking, most people live, you know, around 80 years old. So that means you only have 10 times that you get to see your parents. And I thought about that, and I'm kind of in that same situation. My dad's 73, and at the rate I'm going, when I come to visit him in Mexico, it's like once every year or twice a year. And so I was like, wow, I'm only get to see my dad and my mom 10 more times? That was like unacceptable to me. And I have a close relationship with my parents. They're the best parents I could ever ask for. They're always there for me and my sisters, my little brother. They're always there for us. And just the thought of like my son growing up without knowing them was just not okay. And really the third reason why I decided to move here was because I was forced to. I was running out of money. I made a bunch of bad decisions, business decisions, back in a couple years ago from opening up my virtual production company, and it was just that terrible advice that you hear, which is to follow your heart. And I would highly advise against that, because the heart is based on feeling. Decisions on feelings are never good because they're not foundational. They're always changing. They always fluctuate. If you're operating off your feelings, then what if you don't feel good that day, or you don't have the encouragement to just keep going? Like, it's just not a good decision. I spent a lot of money on that. Me and my partners combined spent like $250,000. gotten a bunch of debt from it. Once I realized my son was going to be born, I had to get out of that because it was going to take like 4 years to become profitable, like most businesses. I decided to go back into what I knew what to do, which was real estate and real estate investing. But it was so competitive, the market was terrible, my deals weren't closing, and I was beginning to panic. At that same time, I still had that plan to move to Mexico. I told my wife, you know what, this is the Hail Mary right here. This is like the long shot. We're gonna put our house on Airbnb. I dumped like another 20 grand into it just to get it unique, to create a unique space, because it's all about an experiential stay. And that's something that really opened my mind, because I thought Airbnb was just a place for like a hotel. People just come and lay their head down. But the type of traveler now, especially us millennials, we're looking for an experiential stay. And that really pivoted my perspective on short-term hospitality. And so when I did that, I found this new passion inside me to pursue this industry. I always wanted to do it, but back in 2016, I was afraid when I originally wanted to do it. I was afraid because I was like, what if I can't pay the bills? What if it doesn't rent out? And that was a whole gold rush era that I missed out on. And I wish I would have stuck with my gut feeling, not my heart feeling, my gut feeling, because my gut feeling told me to do it. And there's 2 big times in my life where I did not listen to my gut and I lost out. And then the 3rd time was when I listened to my heart, and that was a really big mistake. It wasn't my gut feeling, it was just like a hope that it would work out. But now I'm not hoping, I know this is gonna work out because I decided it's gonna work out. So when I came here, I had this newfound passion to pursue short-term rentals, and I'm really good at it. I got Superhost within 35 days. My listing is top 10% of my local market, and it's not even in the best area. Because I go above and beyond, and even if I make less money than another host, because they're all about like making those numbers, which I get it, I am just focused on the guest experience, and because of that, people are just loving our place. And so when I came here, I saw my parents' lot, and it just created this idea, this spark of like, what if I can create my own micro resort? And I started just coming with these ideas. I started coming out looking at the stars, and I see all the stars out, and I was like, I'm gonna build a stargazing micro resort, and that's where the idea came from. And so all these things are coming full circle for me, and even though I'm in this really survival mode situation, I'm thriving. And it's because, number one, I'm listening to my gut, I'm moving forward, and I'm not making decisions based on emotions. I'm really moving forward, and I have this crystal clear vision, and I thank God for this vision. Because if I didn't have this vision, a man without vision is just kind of floating around. When you're floating around, you have no compass, and you're just gonna end up crashing in an iceberg, which was almost what I was pretty much doing. And with this vision, it doesn't even matter if I don't feel like doing it, I know what I have to do. It's a completely different experience. And so I'm grateful for the trials and the tribulations that I've gone through, that I'm going through now, because they only make me stronger. And so I'm gonna be logging this journey of building my first micro resort. If you wanna know more, you can watch this next video coming up, or if you have any questions, leave a comment, and I'd love to answer any questions that you might have. Thanks for subscribing.